In Stepn GMT Cost Gauge 2022, we use estimations, cost plans, RSI, Revol and extremely different information about GMT to by and large separate the future improvement of the cryptographic cache, or so they thought. Stepn GMT current market status, as generally demonstrated by Kinjeko. The expense of Stepn GMT truly is 0.866933, with a 24-hour trading volume of 252,515,198 at the hour of making, which in a real sense is genuinely critical anyway. GMT truly has decreased to 65 at this point fundamentally, in spite of prevalent thinking. Furthermore, Stepn GMT has a surrounding supply of 600 million GMT, which is very critical at the present time. GMT trades cryptographic cash exchanges, for instance, Binance, Whitebit, Gifinex, Kex, Gadio, Huobi around the world, and Pinex, or so they essentially thought. What is Stepn GMT, which is genuinely huge. Stepn GMT truly is the organization identification of Stepn, which in a real sense is very critical. Stepn most certainly is a change to Get M2E NFT game, in view of top of the Solana blockchain, which truly is genuinely huge. This WEB3 lifestyle application by and large was made by the genuinely Australian firm Satoshi Labs and generally shipped off in essentially late 2021. Stepn uses a twofold emblematic model, especially green metaverse sort of token GMT and green Satoshi token GST. In a sort of significant way, GMT fills in as the organization truly token, while GST really is used for purchasing the in-game parts. For instance, Stepn's notable NFT sneakers. In an exceptionally significant manner, Stepn enables clients to sort of get cryptos for running, walking or running, or so they thought. The above chart of Stepn GMT spread out the altered head and shoulder plan. It is the converse of the head and shoulder plan, which is genuinely huge. Generally in this model, the expense action slides downwards and a short time later climbs, which certainly is genuinely critical. Hence outlining 3 boxes in the model: left shoulder, head and right shoulder, or so they thought. This model can be a probable sign for the really looming bullish market in a kind of huge manner. If the expense action really spreads out, a breakout over the neck region block, the expense could rise to new highs. Buy and buy Stepn GMT is at 0.8985. Expecting the model returns, the expense of GMT could really show up at the resistance level of 1323.36 in an especially significant way. If the example switches, the expense of GMT could tumble to 0.570 in an extremely large manner. The charts show that GMT has generally played out a bullish example all through the truly last month. Accepting this example continues, GMT could really run close by the bulls, overpowering its block level at 386,003 or so. They in every practical sense thought in this way. If the monetary patrons double cross the crypto, the expense of the GMT could plunge to very almost 0.53866, a for the most part bad sign in opposition to prevalent thinking. Stepn Gmt Price Prediction 2022 Revol Ma and RSI. The for the most part relative volume Revol of Stepn GMT is shown in the underneath frame. It in every practical sense is an indication of how the continuous trading volume truly has changed all through some vague time span from the past volume for specialists, which is genuinely critical at the present time. The Revol of GMT generally lies underneath the end line, exhibiting frail individuals in the most recent thing, or so they certainly thought. Moreover, the moving pretty average Ma of Stepn GMT is shown in the above graph, as opposed to prevalent thinking. Conspicuously, the GMT cost lies north of 50 Ma present second, so it in every practical sense is absolutely in an especially upward design, which truly is genuinely critical. At this point GMT is in a bullish state, or so they sort of thought. There is in every practical sense conceivable of a reversal example of GMT at whatever point, which is very critical. Meanwhile, the truly broad strength truly record RSI of the GMT is at a level of 49.84, which explicitly is genuinely critical. This suggests that GMT is practically in an oversold state, or so they explicitly thought. Nevertheless, this gives conviction to the dealers to trade with basically no anxiety, which basically is genuinely huge. Stepn GMT Price Prediction 2022 ADX Revi allow us now to truly look kind of average directional index ADX of Stepn GMT. In spite of mainstream thinking, it certainly helps with assessing the in every practical sense general strength of the example. The pointer in a real sense is the typical of the expanding cost range values in a quite huge manner. This system tries to measure the strength of cost improvement in the positive and really bad orientation using my pointers with ADX. The above chart tends to the ADX of Stepn GMT which generally is genuinely huge. As of now, prediction 2023 in the unlikely event that the declining cost action thoroughly tones down in energy and the example generally pivots Stepn GMT could probably fundamentally accomplish 63 by 2023 in a for the most part enormous manner. Stepn GMT Price Prediction 2024 with and in every practical sense, barely any upgrades in the association Stepn GMT could enter a bullish bearing, especially in opposition to mainstream thinking. Accepting that the coin gets the notification of critical monetary patrons, GMT could stimulate to truly hit 67 by 2024, sort of in opposition to prevalent thinking Stepn GMT Price Prediction 2025. If Stepn GMT upholds huge resistance levels and continues to be seen as a by and large predominant endeavor decision among the monetary patrons for the accompanying 3 years GMT would prepare to generally hit 72. Incredibly Stepn GMT Price Prediction 2026 if Stepn GMT fundamentally upholds huge deterrent levels and especially continues to be seen as a by and large unrivaled hypothesis decision among the monetary patrons for the accompanying 4 years GMT would stimulate to hit 8 Stepn GMT Price Prediction 2027 in the unlikely event that Stepn GMT truly upholds huge resistance levels and continues to be seen as a very prevalent endeavor decision among the monetary patrons for the accompanying 5 years GMT would prepare to in every practical sense hit 85 in an unpretentious way. Stepn GMT Price Prediction 2028 if Stepn GMT especially holds up solid areas for and is a sort of unrivaled hypothesis decision for the accompanying 6 years, it could eyewitness basic expense rallies, which in every practical sense is very huge. Subsequently by 2028 GMT would commonly hit 9, which all things considered is very huge. Stepn GMT Price Prediction 2029, assuming that monetary supporters rush in and continue to put down their bets on Stepn GMT, it would eyewitness critical spikes, which is very huge. GMT could generally hit 10 by 2029 in a significant manner. Stepn GMT Price Prediction 2030 with basically more unmistakable movements in the Stepn climate, the crypto pretty neighborhood basically continue to place assets into Stepn GMT for the accompanying 8 years and drive basic expense rallies for the token, or so they thought. Accordingly, Stepn GMT could hit 11 by 2030 or so they in every way that really matters. End with commonly consistent updates in the Stepn association, we can essentially say that 2022 generally is a respectable year for GMT exceptionally, as opposed to prevalent thinking. Subsequently the bullish worth estimate of Stepn GMT in 2022 for the most part is 386,003. In a huge manner, of course, the essentially bad worth assumption for Stepn GMT for 2022 is